light shines so bright, you might go blind, blind, blind.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Finance Blog for You. On this channel, we talk about finance and accounting related topics. We also do cover studying abroad. In today's episode, I have a very special and amazing guest with me. And this person has been a friend for a couple of years. So we met in the year 2019. We met on campus where, we both pursued Masters in Financial Service Management in Germany. So that is where I met Titi. So Titi will be covering the application process of her master's degree, the challenges, the lessons she learned, the cultural shocks, and many more. She will also be talking about life after a master's degree in Germany. Hi Titi, and welcome to the Finance Blog for You. Titi, could you please introduce yourself?
Hi, Ernest. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me. My name is Titi. I'm from Nigeria. I came to Germany in 2019 for my master's and finished my master's and then got a job and working as a financial controller now in Berlin.
Oh, nice. That's very lovely.
Thank you.
So, if I may ask, why Germany? Why did you choose Germany for your master's? Was there so many other countries like US, Canada, UK?
Mhm.
Those are like the most popular, countries or destination for
Yeah.
master because of language.
Yeah.
So, why did you choose Germany?
To be very honest with you, I also had those on my list when I was coming. It was either US was too strict with their rules and the things you have to submit, so it wasn't much in my consideration. But I did consider Canada and the United Kingdom, and they were quite expensive because I was still like a hustler in Nigeria then, just trying to find my way around, right? And then I heard about Germany. A friend told me about Germany and told me that it was free tuition. I literally couldn't believe it. I first thought it was a scam because I mean, knowing Germany, it's a very nice country. And it was so surprising to hear that, they have free tuition. So I took my phone and called someone in the school and
Yeah.
said, can you confirm to me that tuition is free? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, so how do you pay your professors? And they were like, government pays them. And I was like, interesting. So that was, then I was looking at, you have to look at the cost as well. I looked at the cost and I was like, yeah, this would be a pretty good deal for me. And I'm still getting quality education. So it's not like I'm substituting one for the other. And since then, I've had no regrets. It's been lovely and it's been wonderful. So yeah, those were one of the things that I considered: the cost and of course the quality of education I'll be receiving. So yeah.
Oh, wow. That's very interesting to hear.
Thank you.
And I think what you said really resonates with me, where you said you thought it was a scam.
Yeah.
So, when I came across a university where you don't really have to pay anything, the only thing you need to pay is like a social contribution, which is like 100 euros.
Yeah.
So every 6 months you pay, like, for us, I think it was 111.
Yes.
Yes, so it sounded like a scam, but then, guys, so true. And this is, really good. The standard, everything is okay. So thank you so much for touching on that. And in terms of the application process, could you please walk us through the application process?
The application process was a tad bit stressful back then, but I think it's a bit easier now. So then I had to get all my documents, of course, my transcripts, my university degree certificate, and some other documents. I didn't have to do an English exam like the TOEFL or the IELTS. I just had to submit a proof that my university degree was taught in English. And I took all of those, did the online application, then sent the physical documents to Germany, which took time. And that was the process then. But I think now for some schools, you don't have to send directly via post, meaning it's a bit easier now. But yeah, that was the process. So it wasn't like it was too difficult. It was something you could do within a day. I had my eyes on the schools I wanted to apply for before the application opened up. Then once they opened up, I submitted the online application and then I sent the physical documents via post. And when I mean the physical documents, it wasn't like the originals of my document. It was a certified copy of the originals that I sent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was pretty straightforward. I think there wasn't too much hassle on the application side.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think I can agree. Once you have the information, where to get to, where to get information from, it
Mhm.
makes it quite straightforward and easy to go through the process. But then
Yeah.
information is very key. If you don't know, you don't know. So it
Yes.
becomes very challenging, difficult. That's why we are trying to put information out there so that people who are going through what we went through a couple of years ago, they
Mhm.
will have some level of information to make those kind of decisions.
Mhm.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So
And my
could
key tip, if I could add one, my key tip for anyone who is trying to do it is, before even the school opens up the admission portal, go in, create an Excel file. I'm an Excel person, that's why I use an Excel. But of course, you can use whatever, your Jota, your Microsoft Word, whatever tool you have. Just list down the number of schools you want to apply to, look at the requirements, write them down, start gathering your documents together so that once the application portal opens, you can directly just apply. So you have an overview of what to expect even
yeah.
before you apply. So do the research beforehand, not in a hurry, so that you have a feel of the school you're going to, the city you're going to. And of course, I mean, the schools are free, so you have the choice to choose whichever city you want to be in Germany, and then collate your documents and apply. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. I think yes, that's a very vital information that you've given right now. I
Yeah.
mean, you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So it's very key to plan everything and make sure
Yeah.
things are before you take that step. So
Yeah.
thanks so
Genau.
genau, genau, genau.
That
My
is why.
German, genau. I mean that's the best German you learn.
Yes. My
Genau.
favorite German word is genau.
It's genau, of course. Me too. It's genau. It's the first German word I learned. If you don't
Mhm.
know German, every time you just say, yeah, so genau, genau.
Genau.
And then you,
Exactly.
you can just, go by things. Yeah. Okay, so in terms of the cost associated with studying in Germany, I
Mhm.
understand every city is different, every university is different. So, can you give us like a fair overview or an average estimate of what the cost could potentially be when you want to study in Germany?
Okay. First, I failed to mention that during the application process, you have to first prove that you can support yourself while in school. While there is no tuition fee on its own, you need a certain amount to prove that I can survive on my own while I'm studying. And this is the blocked account that comes in. And that is, I think, 11,250 euros as of now. Please don't quote me on the exact exact amount. I may be off a few euros or so, but it's been long. I checked the application process. Then, when you have that money, it comes in on a monthly basis. So the money is divided into 12, and they release it to you on a monthly basis.
Yeah,
Now, each city, like you said, in Germany is quite different. There are the big cities like Munich or Berlin or other cities like Dusseldorf that are really big, and maybe the cost of living may be higher than in some smaller cities. For instance, an average rent in Berlin will take you about 600 euros, while an average rent in where we studied down south, or yeah, not west, southwest, I think, would
mhm,
take you about 300 euros. So you have to consider like the city, and then choose. It will also determine your cost of living. So what are the majority of things that will take money is your rent, and of course you have to pay health insurance, and
yeah,
you have to pay for feeding, right? And you of course have to clothe yourself, because coming from places like ours where we have just one clothes for all season, here you
yeah.
have to buy two sets of clothes, for winter and for summer. So we're not used to that. So on an average, I would say probably 800 for smaller cities, and
Okay.
about maybe 1,200 for bigger cities like Berlin. Or Munich can be a bit more expensive, but again, um, there's a way to balance all these things out. You're able to get a job faster, and you're able to support yourself a little bit more with your 20-hour student time to work. So these things can average out. So on an average, I would say probably about 800 and 1,200 euros. Again, you have this money in your blocked account. So
Yeah.
it's not like you're having to go hustle for the money. They just release it out to you on a monthly basis. So Yeah. And depending on how high end your lifestyle is, of course, you can also cut down on the kind of food you eat or on the kind of clothing you wear if you're not into, buying brand clothes and trying to prove yourself. If you're able to, you know, we are both in finance, we know that, you cut your clothes according to your clothes say. So just leave below your means in a certain way because you're still a student and you need all the money you can get. And that's not the time for you to be buying all these designer clothes or to be wearing expensive shoes. So if you kind of budget yourself well, then you should be able to even survive probably below 800 sometimes. But let's keep it at 800 to 1,000 euros or 1,200 euros.
Yeah, definitely. So I agree with you. And let me just add a few things. So with the block account, I think there is like a conception, or they have the perception that, the block account is for, let's say, the German government or something. No. So the block account, they've calculated 12-month worth of your living expenses, and they're telling you to deposit into an account. So when you come to Germany, you unblock the account, and then every month they'll give you 1/12 of that money. So they'll give you a fraction of it until the money is exhausted. However, let me put it out there that there might be some small charges or bank fees, but that's a very, like, in the grand scheme of things, that's not like a lot. And also, like, Titi said, when you come to Germany, you would have, the opportunity to do all kind of work so that you don't exhaust your block account. So make sure, you are open-minded, because there are so many jobs that you will not expect to do. So like restaurants, warehouse, cleaning, just be open-minded. Don't think, you are a banker in Nigeria or Ghana. So once you get to Germany, you are the burger. So you are going to be sitting in AC doing all these fancy. No, no, no. I mean, personally, I've done all kinds of job, and I plan to, just do a video about it or upload a video on that. So just be open-minded and know that there could be things that you never expected to, happen, so that you don't get surprised, don't get overwhelmed. If, let me put it that way. Yeah, that's what I.
And perhaps it's just a phase, it's a phase in your life that you would also outgrow at some point. You're not going to be doing those jobs forever. Take care of trying to study and make good grades. And once you get out, you have better opportunities awaiting you. So it's a balance. Yeah, I would
For
say.
sure, because we are living testimony. When I
Yes.
finished,
Yeah.
I also had a chance to work in corporate Germany. And previously, I was doing restaurants. I don't want to mention the restaurants, but yeah, cleaning and all those kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you should see it as, it's part of the process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Eventually, to get better.
Yeah.
So, become a motivational speaker today, and let's move on to the next thing. So,
Yeah.
in terms of adjusting to life in Germany, could you share some experience and tips on adjusting to new culture as a foreigner in Germany? I know it can be quite, overwhelming and then very challenging. So could you please, give us some experience or tips on that?
First, I would say that as someone coming, I didn't have any language. I didn't understand a single word of German until I came here. If I could go back and do things better, I would probably say at least I would have taken maybe an A1 course in Nigeria that gives me a little bit of an edge to at least say hi to people. Germans are not known to speak a lot of English, so they may look closed off at first because they are either too shy to speak the little English they know because they think they will make a lot of grammatical errors, or they don't know it at all. So it can be challenging when you have two people that can't communicate. We understand that communication is key in this day and age that we are in. So I would say in school also, the schools offer some German courses. So I would say take advantage of that. Try to understand the language of the place you're living in and have an open mind. I mean, Germans tend to stare a lot, but I don't think they mean it in a bad way. They're just like a curious mind trying to understand something. So have a curious or have an open mind and try to learn the language. I hear a lot that they say language is difficult. It is. I'm still in the process of learning, but I believe it's just like any other thing that we were learning. You came for your master's or you came for your bachelor's, you're learning something. So if you also put the same effort into learning language, it's just like learning something as well. It's not bigger or smaller, it's just learning as well. Then I would say, there are some supports in the university. We have like the international programs where internationals gather together and just try to, meet and greet and, share culture, share ideas. I think we had one in our school where we had a potluck. People cooked different meals from their different countries. And, you just don't also, I would also advise that you try to go out and make friends beyond the school, try to integrate into the German culture, go to a bar or go out with your friends and meet some people and try to speak the little, like genau. And with time, you start to get a feel of the environment and you start to figure out things that are things you like and things you don't like. And I think in Germany, they have a whole lot of social programs. I can speak for Berlin where I am. You have different community programs you can join and just try to integrate yourself better. Look around, check for volunteer programs that are in your area, try to volunteer for little things, and then you try to build friend and community like that. If you're a Christian, of course, try to go to church. You also have a community there as well that can help you integrate better, show you around, take you around. And there are also different Facebook or WhatsApp groups for internationals, and you can also take advantage of that. So I think the basic thing is to be open-minded and look for communities, and communities can come in different forms, online through volunteering or through your church or through your school programs or through anything. Just be open-minded, look for these opportunities and take advantage of it. But most importantly, try and learn language. It's very important if you want to be here long term. It helps you integrate faster, it makes you integrate better, and you're able to at least communicate with the people who are here, who are around you. So yeah.
Definitely, definitely. I think I really, agree on the language thing because let me give one tip. For me, I was advised by my uncle to take A1 level of Deutsch. So before I came to university, I
Yeah,
already
that's true.
you guys thought
Mhm.
I was shy because I was speaking some basic Deutsch and
Yeah.
so it really helped me and it made things much more easier because I remember we had a friend who always would say I should follow him to the supermarket because of the little
The
German.
little you could speak, yeah.
So at least knowing some basic Deutsch, I think it plays a major role. So guys, if you are in Nigeria, if you are in Ghana or wherever you find yourself, and you are planning to go through this process, I think it's better to learn some Deutsch. And today you can go on YouTube, learn language. You can use app. You don't necessarily have to go to class. So you can take advantage of all these opportunities, which will be very helpful and it can shape your future as well. So
Yeah.
thank you very much, Titi, for hitting on the language thing. You know, and so when it comes to coursework and then academic expectations, can you describe the academic structure and expectation in German universities?
Oh.
No, I
So
know.
you would think because it's free that they're
Yeah,
going to take it easy on you. Is
yeah,
the exact opposite. Because it's not free, the
yeah,
professors don't have to be kind to you, don't have to, consider you when it comes to like coursework or, for when you pay a lot of money for something, you're expected to pass or that you're expected to, because you paid for the service, people try to, take that into consideration. But here in Germany, you didn't pay.
yeah,
So professors are not looking to satisfy you by giving you less coursework or trying to help you in some way. It's
yeah,
very rigorous, but mostly based on self-study. You have to do a lot of self-study. I like the classroom environment. It's very conversational. You can give your ideas. Like they're always just asking, okay, what do you think about this? What do you think about it? You can disagree and give points as to why. So I really love the teaching environment. It was very open. You could express yourself. You could express what you're thinking. And if it's wrong, they would, help you form or shape that conversation in a better way. So it's really, but also rigorous because you have to go home every day with some homework to do on either writing a paper or researching a particular topic, or even coming to class prepared for the next topic as well, because nobody's going to hand anything over to you. It's a very conversational classroom where everyone is giving input, and you don't want to seem like, of course, there are also points for giving input. So if you stay in class and just sit and don't say anything, you're losing on points that would eventually make up your grade. So you have to prepare before class, understand a little bit of the topic so you can give insights, and then you go back home, do homeworks. They give you some topic. It can
Um,
be very rigorous,
yeah,
but it's also fun.
yeah, for some of us who don't like talking in class, I mean, Titi and them lots, they were taking all the mics. And for us who can speak in class, we always don't get those kind of marks, and we need to struggle to get the pass mark because we don't want to talk in class. The Ghanaian culture, they didn't really raise you to like be vocal or share your opinion. So once we go to class, we just be sitting down and looking at the professors,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, we don't get those marks where you need to contribute. So it's very pragmatic, and it's very like practical as well. In Germany, it's not like theory. The things you learn are very practical. I mean, they put you in groups, you do case study, you
Yeah.
learn the practical part.
You even go to the company sometime. I remember there was a time we went to PwC also, to help us formulate these things that we've been discussing in class. So it's very fun. I like it, but
Yeah,
also a lot of work.
definitely. And one thing that really shocked me, where they called like professors by their first names. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Where I come from, you can just call your professor and be like, hello, John, or hi, Mark, or something. No, 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 no. It was a big shock to me that, people just stand up. You have to add professor or
Mhm.
miss or doctor
Mhm.
or something. So that
Yeah.
was like a big shock to me.
That's how it is too in Nigeria. They're like gods, little gods that you have to respect. But I guess that's why the conversations don't flow in class. I guess
Yeah,
in Germany, the aim is that you're able to converse and express yourself freely in class. And to be able to do that, they need to give at least a field where people are free and open to be able to do that. And that was really nice.
that's very key, of course,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah, so thank you very much on that.
Sure.
So I want to transition from academia to finance industry. So in terms of that, could you discuss how the process was from transitioning from being a student to working in finance in Germany?
Okay. So before I came to Germany, I was working in the finance industry. I was working in investment. So I hoped that, and when I was working in investment, there were some big portfolios that we used to sell in Nigeria. Then an example is the Alliance Fund. We had this very big Alliance Fund, and I was thinking, oh, when I get to Germany, I'm just going to apply to Alliance and be like an investment advisor there or so also. But like I said, because Germany is Germany, they speak German. And as at the time I was graduating, my German was still not so great for me to be able to transition into like a full German company working culture. I
Yeah,
had to, if I wanted to be what I wanted to be, which is an investment advisor, I would need to speak C1 level of German, which was hard at that point for me to even imagine. So I thought, okay, what else can I do in finance? And then I decided to go into another field in finance, and I'm currently like a financial controller. That also didn't come very easy because most companies in Germany also want German proficiency.
yeah,
And for me, it just means that you do double the work and you're competing with a lot more people from the international. So the competition is a bit tighter because the few 10% of companies who don't really require German, a whole lot of people are also competing for it. So it was tough, but in the end, you submit your application, you submit your cover letter, and you hope for the best. And it took a lot of applications to get where I am, but thankfully I did get it. And, that's how the journey started.
I must say I'm really, very proud of you. I mean, from
Thank
trans
you.
from all these kind of jobs, becoming a finance manager, and now becoming a financial controller.
Yeah.
So well done, Titi. I mean, you are
Thank
putting
you. Thank you.
done. Kudos, kudos.
Thank
Yeah.
you. But
So
it takes a whole, I don't want to make it look like it's easy because it does take a lot of work. You have to sit and apply to a whole lot of companies. And
really,
like I said, your pool is already small because a whole lot of them will require German proficiency. And so it's a whole lot of competition. And but yeah, it's been a good learning experience. And I just advise people, don't give up. It may look, don't write yourself off. You are you. Every other person may write you off, but do not write yourself off. Believe in yourself and keep pushing. And it
thank
will come.
you so much. Yeah, because I quite remember when you were looking for a job, I called you and you were like, I've applied to like number of jobs. I was like, oh my god, I think I'm joking.
Yeah.
And I picked some inspiration, some motivation from there. So I also, started applying for more jobs. And one thing is very expectant. So you see emails, so many emails. I mean, your emails will be flooded. And the first thing you do, I mean, it's Germany. So immediately I open the email, you see LIDA, something, something. Immediately I see LIDA, I just
You
delete
did it.
because I know, what is coming next. So
Yes.
LIDA, we are sorry to blah 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 blah, and I just delete the email and then we
Yeah.
move on. Sometimes it's very difficult. It's normal to take a break because it can be very overwhelming
Mhm.
when you search, and then it's all negative news. But then
Mhm.
if you persist, and then you should also learn through the process. You don't
Mhm.
just apply.
Yeah.
The sense that, I mean, you sent an application and they said your language is not good. Whilst applying, start, learning a bit of Deutsch so
Mhm.
that you become more competitive. Because number one, you are in a foreign land. Number two, I mean, your language is not that good. You are competing with like native Germans.
Mhm.
You should know that you should have something that you can bring to the table or an added advantage, if I should put it that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
very,
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember when I started too, I had like this Excel spreadsheet. I'm an Excel girl where I was keeping a list of all of the places I've applied to. And at a point, it was getting to 400 plus. I kid you not. And then I had to just delete that list because it was so overwhelming for me. I did it at first just to like, oh, I'll be able to give a testimony that maybe after like 50 applications or so, I got a job. But it was just getting longer and longer. It was also the period of COVID that I started as well. So that was also maybe what made it a little bit more challenging.
So yeah, thank you very much on touching on that point. So at this point, do you have any tips, advice, or any golden nugget for someone who is going through this process, the phase where we were, who is looking for a job in Germany? Because being a job seeker in Germany is very daunting and scary. I mean, it's very difficult. So will you be able to give our viewers some tips on that, Titi?
First, I would say that run your CV by friends or close people to you. Let them take a second look at it and help you, spot mistakes that you may have. I have friends working in the in the HR department, and I've also hired a few people along the way in my positions. And I think that the first thing I see is that the CVs don't even come really nice. I mean, I don't mean you should put it in like this really deep colors.
Yeah.
um, when someone is reviewing your CV, they don't have a lot of time to do that. So you want to keep the most relevant information at the most obvious places. If you're looking for an entry level position, do not put, I see, okay, someone is putting six different responsibility on the role. How do you want them to read six different things? They're not going to read it. So if you're starting and you have not a lot of experience, just put like two or three. They can easily scroll through that and see, okay, maybe you've done some internship or maybe you've used these skills in some places before. Don't put six, seven because you're trying to outline everything. Take the first two important points or the first three at most and
Yeah.
use that. And if you're starting, there's no need why your CV should be 2 pages. It should be 1 page,
Mhm.
and so have that very precise. I think we just need to be more precise in the way that we share the information. We don't want to share everything. And one of the things is look at the job description, study it very well, and sort of see the skills that I have. How can I interpret it in a way that would make it understandable for these people. And I think one of the major things I see also from Africans is we speak English, so we use a lot of big words that,
Yeah.
again, we're in Germany. Even if your CV is going to be in English, they don't understand big words. They're not going to be opening dictionary just to check what you're putting in your CV. So make the English as simple as you can.
Yeah.
Very simple. No grammatical. That's not the time for you to be flexing your English grammar. They don't understand.
And proverbs, African proverbs.
Yes, yes. Just make it very simple so that they look at it and they understand at first. So I would say those are the big tips. And they try to kind of favor a specialist more than a generalist. I think it's the opposite in Nigeria, where I'm from, where they want you to feel different roles, or they want you to be that flexible to fill different roles. But here they're sort of looking for people who can do a particular job and who can do it well. So take out anything that doesn't focus on the skill they want you to focus on. They're not much, in my opinion. Maybe others have different opinion, but I feel like they're more of a specialist. They want you to be able to do something and do it well. So whatever role or whatever you're putting in your CV must be tied to that job description that they've given you. So I would say yes, do not use too much grammar. Make the English as simple as you can. Try to make it very specific to the role they are applying for. And of course, show your friends or family to help you review it and make it one page, not too many things in it.
Oh yeah,
They don't have the time to read through everything.
that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. Thank you very much. I think personally I've picked certain, tips from this advice. If in case I should come back to the job market, I think I'm going to apply that as well. So thank
That's
you
good.
for this, insightful advice that you've given our audience. So
Sure.
I'll move on to the work-life balance and then cultural difference, which
Mhm.
is a very major thing in Germany, and you being a foreigner as well. So could you walk us through the work-life balance and any notable cultural difference that you experience being in Germany?
Um, I would say that they place a whole lot of emphasis on work-life balance. I think when I was working in Nigeria, then it's not common to leave your work while your manager is still working. You kind of look like the one who is not working, and you have to pretend to be working even when you're not working, because you have to. It's more of time versus input.
Yeah.
Even if you're not putting in a whole lot of input or a whole lot of uh, you're not adding so much to the task. You just have to look like you are. But here, if they give you have 8 hours to work, you come in, you give in your time, you can go whenever you want. And I see even some people starting really early because they want to close early. So they just have to do the 8 hours. So if you want to start your work 7 a.m., you're free to start your work 7 a.m. and then you finish earlier as well because you started. Once you do your 8 hours, and then you can go. No one is it's even a real offense when you're working overtime. And I think from January this year, they have put in a new law that says every employee must track their time. And I had a friend telling me the other day that he had some overtimes during the week. And
Okay.
as at the time it was 12 p.m. on Friday, the system was just alerting him to stop working because he has to make up for the for
Oh wow.
the overtime he's done. So at 12, he had to log off his computer because he had
Wow.
used it. So he had some overtime and he had the rest of the day off. So they're pretty very um they're encouraging people to work and still have a life. Life is not all about work. You have a family, you have a hobby. Yeah, so they are really into finding a hobby to, life is all about work. Have a hobby, have something that you love that you can do. And they're very is it sportlish? I don't know what word to use. They are really into sports, I would say. You would see, oh, I play football, or oh, I go to the gym a lot, or I cycle a lot, just always outside trying to take advantage of the good weather that they have when they have it. So I would say yes. I like the work culture here. It's not too overwhelming.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. There is even a saying that goes like, in Europe or in Germany, they work to live. But then if you go to like US, they live to work.
Mhm.
So I know in Europe, work-life balance is like a major thing. Taking holidays, paid sick leave. I mean, you have so many benefits. So
Yeah.
really good and nice, as opposed to certain countries where if you go on holidays, you're on your own. I mean, I don't want to mention countries, but you get what I'm
Yeah,
talking.
but it's really good. You see a different perspective to life. There is actually life outside of working.
Of
There
course.
is beauty to discover. There are things about you that you can discover. But if every day all you do is just wake up, walk, go to sleep, you never
Yeah,
have time to discover the beauty of the world. And probably you do when you're old and naggy, which is not good. So yeah, it has taught me to really slow down as well. Before, I remember when I was living in Lagos, Nigeria is very um stressful because again there's a lot of traffic, so even if you want to get to work by 8, you have to wake up by 6 to beat the traffic or be early, and then when you finish by like 6, before you get home is about 8, the day is gone, and then you're like tired but you sleep and then do the same thing the next day. But here it just lets you take it easy. Life is not all about money.
yeah. I mean,
It's really nice. I've
what,
discovered some certain aspects about me that I didn't know before, because all I was interested in before was work. But now you take it easy. You try to find, what do I like? What do I want to do with my life other than money, other than going to work? And those are really beautiful things, I'd say.
of course, I agree. I think they are very nice because it's the same as Ghana. Is you mainly, go to work, and one thing is that commuting from your house to work can take like 2 hours. So even once you get to work, you're already exhausted. And
Yes.
then getting back is also another stress. But
Yeah.
in general, the transport system is so good. There are buses, there are trams, there are trains, there's S-Bahn, U-Bahn. So I
Yeah.
think it's good. That also help you get like a lot of time. And now there's even working from home, which has
Yeah.
made it.
Mhm.
And maybe in Africa it might not be so common because of logistics, but then hopefully in the near future, I think it will be
So that-
as well.
yeah.
So Titi, thank you so much. So I'll move on to visa and work permit process. So could you explain the visa and work permit process for international students and graduates? I know it can be
So
important with all this Auslander beholder and all those kind of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
It can be pretty exhausting to, deal with the bureaucratic process in Germany. One thing that Germany is not good at yet is the bureaucratic process. It's a lot of bureaucratic process, and maybe they have good reasons for doing that. But let's not get into that today.
Yeah.
There are two ways if you want to. The first thing is, of course, you have to get a work contract.
Mhm.
Unlike in the UK, the employer, you're not, what's it called in the UK?
They
Let's
need
take
to.
a pause. Yeah, unlike the UK, you're not being sponsored by the employer. You just need a work contract from an employer. And then you take that work contract and submit it to the government, probably Federal Employment Agency, or just go to Ausländer Behörde, it's called, the Foreigners Office, and they show you what to do. And there are also two ways about that. You could use a service of like these employment agencies that help you book an appointment or get the bureaucratic process done, or you
Yeah.
can write to the agencies yourself or to the foreigners office yourself, saying, "Hey, I've got a work contract. What else do I need?" It's usually very simple.
Mhm.
I remember from my time, you need, of course, a work contract. You need to show that your course and the school is recognized by the German authority. If you have studied here, then it is recognized. But
Because
if you probably came in through another way and you wanted to work here, then you would have to just check on. They have a database called Anabin where you can check this. But again, for people like us who have studied here, you only need a work contract and probably to show that you're living in a certain city and then submit those documents. The process is not long. The real pain in the process is getting the appointment. Appointments can be very daunting in Germany, getting appointments. For some cities like Berlin, they have instituted this online application, which makes things a little bit easier because you just have to submit it online and they will get back to you. But that can still take a while, about 6 to 8 weeks, I hear. But in some other states, It could be easier or it could be harder because you just have to look for an appointment, and when you get the appointment, you go. So um, that's where the agencies come in. Those will help you look for the appointment. If you use those ones, then they can help you get appointment within 3 to 4 weeks or 3 to 6 weeks, which makes things easier. But if you're doing it yourself, then it can take a while to get the appointment. Once you get the appointment, then they look at your documents, they look at the contract. Of course, they probably contact the employer and ask some questions, and then you get your work visa. So I would say it's seamless once you get the appointment.
Oh, okay, that's really nice. Yeah, and then one thing I like so much about Germany is that the employer does not need to be your sponsor. So I think it makes it more easy as opposed to the US or UK where the employer needs to sponsor you. With this one, once you get the job, you just send it to the foreign office or Auslander beholder, and then you go through the whole process by yourself. Whereas in other countries, you need to, the sponsor need to even pay money to sponsor you. So that becomes a bit more difficult for them to like spend on you or. So I think it's a really nice thing in Germany, and it makes, I wouldn't say it makes it so easy, but it helps in a way when you are looking for a job as an international student.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very considerate. They're not looking at using people. They want to help
Oh,
people. They want to make us work faster. So I don't understand this sponsorship thing as well myself. It looks like big work. So I'm really thankful that, all we need here is just a work contract, which
yes.
is, of course,
Yeah, it's
easier.
really. So yeah, thank you so much, Titi. At this point, I would like to ask: do you have any final thoughts or advice for someone who is considering a master's in Germany and also a career in finance?
Um, I would say one, learn the language. Germany is really a beautiful place to be in. It allows you they work, but they also have a life, which I think that is a very great combination. We're talking about work-life balance the other time. I feel like what really discourages people a lot is the language part. And like I said, it's just like any other kind of learning. It's strange to you because you haven't taken time to learn it. But once you do, it helps you better. I feel like the opportunities are here in Germany. Things are getting better. They just recently introduced this 5 years to citizenship path, or even 3 years where you speak, great level of German.
One,
So
right?
what?
E1 level of Deutsch for the
Yes,
3 years.
if you speak C1, you would get it in 3 years.
Yeah.
I feel like there are various opportunities here. According to the job board, they had about 560,000 open positions, I think. So there are opportunities here. The people, they're also great, but because you don't speak the language, you would not see their greatness. So again, learning the language is great. I feel like here, and you can travel around Europe. It's the best. It's a great country to be in, where you can go to some other European countries for really cheap money. You don't have to spend so much to see the whole of Europe.
Yeah.
I would say that you should take it into consideration that in the long run, if language is just the only thing discouraging you, it's something that can be learned. But I feel like life is really great here. And I really love my life here, and I don't see myself moving anytime soon. In terms of work, again, there are many opportunities once you learn the language. I would say keep improving yourself when it comes to finance before you even apply. But I would say yes, look into the industry you're in, trying to find out the kind of tools they use or the kind of processes they use here. It will help you, sharpen what to talk about during interview, even if you haven't particularly done it before, but you can reason in the context of the German work environment. It can be pretty different. So whatever in finance, take a look at what tools do they use, what kind of process do they have, in what kind of, there are different stages. You can want to go into the startup world, look at what kind of tools. If you're trying to look at the bigger companies, you also have to understand their work process. And you don't need to be in these companies to understand these really tiny details. Something you can find on Google and, help just sharpen your skills. And if you have time as well, you can also, again, this is one of the things why I like Germany. they have this department called Agentur for Arbeit. When you don't have work, you can go to them and say, I need work, but I have so skills, and they can train you. Of course, I'm simplifying the whole thing. There's a whole lot of background to it, but there's
Yeah.
a possibility for this where you're like, oh, I would love to get a job, but I don't have these so skills. And they can sit you down and offer you courses that you don't have to pay for, that you can do this. Of course, again, this is just simplifying it, but there are opportunities like this. But again, they also come in German because we're in Germany. So the basic is to first learn the language. I think if I could go back, one of the mistakes I made was saying, oh, when I finish my master's, then I would, I would
Let's,
concentrate more on German then. But I feel like the best time to work on your language skills is when you're studying. Create time, even if it's in the evenings. I think there was a school that we had, the VHS, Hochschule oder so,
yeah, 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 yeah.
adult learning. And they have cheaper courses, or you could like negotiate with your school, or the schools even offer these German courses. Just make sure you're taking advantage of offerings that you have as a student to
Mm.
learn the language, and you would come out really better for it. I know some people even took like a 6 months break to go to a full German school to study and just get better in the language before they graduated. So you can do all of these things before you graduate, so that once you are out there, you're competing with others as well. At least better. You have a slight edge. So that would be mine.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you so much for all these advice, insights, and tips that you've given us. Um, I mean, I really appreciate it, and I'm sure our viewers will also appreciate it. So all I can say is danke, Sean. Um,
Bitte schön.
Danke, Sean. Yeah, bis zum till. I think my Deutsch is rusty now. I think you need to teach me. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Bis zum nächsten Mal. Thank
Yeah.
you, Titi, for sharing your insight. And guys, if you have any questions, you can leave in the comment section, and then Titi and I will address it. If there's anything I need to, ask Titi, I will ask her. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell icon, and then support us so that we'll be able to shoot more content. So, Titi, we really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
Wake up this early morning to just have this amazing interview with us, and then
Sure.
help people out there. I would say we wish you all the best, and enjoy, your time. Enjoy the spring. I don't even know if it's spring or because these days
We don't know. It's not summary.
the summer is not summer. Yeah, so
It's not.
if it's spring or we are heading to autumn or winter is coming, is not. Yeah. So all I say is just enjoy Berlin, enjoy your time, and thank you so much, Titi. So till we speak again, danke schon and choose. Bye.
Bye.